was like boot camp. Silence! Stand! You may go. Okay. Fine, went to the Mass. The abbot gave a speech, welcome everybody. Everything was fine. And of course, when we exited, we had to exit exactly the same way, out to the courtyard. It was like supper time at 5 o'clock. Be there. Well, we were a little bit slow. We just wanted to find our way around. So on that first day, there was a group of older students that came by, 6 of them, came by the rooms. They were wearing a black band on their shirts with a red cross. And they came by and said downstairs to eat immediately. So these were the seniors or wherever they were. We do as we're told. So we ate. And it was kind of like strange because I grew up in the United States and, you know, this sounded like I was going to Marine Corps boot camp.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be a Catholic school of some type. I knew they were going to be strict, there's going to be rules and regulations, but you had to follow all this ritualistic type of stuff. But I just followed the rules and didn't think much of it. Well, on that second day, we went back to the Abbey dormitory. And it was time to get our school books. And there was a special big hallway. And in the center there was a guy sitting there with stacks of books. And you would walk up and give him the coupon and get your books and go back. Strange thing was, we had to go into that big hall a certain way. And you went around like 3 times. 3 times until you get to the guy who gave you the books. Well, why in the world don't they just put a long table on the side of the wall and everybody just walks up and grabs their books and it's a lot faster? No, we had to do it that specific way. I didn't think much of it. That's how they want to do it. That's how they want to do it. Just follow the rules. Well, later on I learned what happens when you don't follow the rules. The first Friday, okay, I was supposed to go home Saturday morning. I was there like for 4 days. On the 5th day came our initiation of new students. I was the only American in there. We had one from Kuwait and one kid from Thailand, a Muslim and a Buddhist in a Catholic school. I couldn't figure that out. But
All in the same.
I don't know. And all of a sudden come these older students with the band and the Red Cross. About 15 of them come up, and they started grabbing one student, boosh, beating him up. The priest was right there watching. Pang, boom. Funny thing is, they grabbed me and did very little damage. The Arab, hardly any damage. The Thai, hardly any damage. A couple of us. The foreigners were not touched. But the Austrians and the Germans got severe beatings. And this was like, this goes on every year. This is initiation. And then the priest said, this is to show you all that if you break the rules, this will be 10 times more severe. One kid had to go to the hospital that weekend. But apparently, it doesn't seem like there was any law or anything that stopped them from using corporal punishment. Wonderful. I went home and told that story to my parents, and it's like, oh, it's, you know, well, just see how it goes.
Rules.
They said this is only a one-time event. We're going to get hit and everything, but we'll see how things go. The students that were there were pretty intelligent. There was 2 of them that I roomed with that were brilliant musicians. I mean, very talented. There was others that were into mathematics and engineering, older ones that I got to know. The school itself was a whole different story because it's actually the educational system was excellent. But after a while, I started getting good grades. The head priest was approaching me and said, you're getting very good grades. And I was kind of amazed as how does this guy know my grades? You know, this is a separate thing to school, and, you know, I get my report card. But the priest always seemed to know of all the students exactly how well they did on a test. One time I did poorly on a test, and I didn't even know it. I kind of knew I did poorly, but I didn't get the exam back. And a priest pulled me on the side and said, "You did poorly on that test and all this. You got to, straighten up and all." I said, "How in the world?" And then the next day I got the exam and got the grade. So he already knew ahead of time what I had. And it was kind of strange. Well, they approached me one day and told us, "Well, you're getting very good grades. You're very good in math and science and Latin. We like that." Okay, I wasn't studying theology or anything. I'd say, well, if I was, into religious subjects or something, I would expect them to be a little more interested. But they were specifically interested that I was good in chemistry, math, and physics. And they pointed that out. I said, well, we have a program for advanced students. It is like a fraternity. If you join that, we have a meeting twice a week. And you go to that meeting and we enhance your learning ability. We enhance your learning and you learn a lot more. Of course, I really wasn't interested in anything like that. My goal at that time was a way to infiltrate the chapel, get the keys to the little sanctum, and get the church wine and away first. That's all I cared about. So I said, well, church wine. That's all I cared about. I said, well, I really have a trouble with the German language. I need to study a little bit more. I don't have the time, but I would be interested in being an altar boy in your Wednesday church services. Let's start there. Then, okay. So I was an altar boy. But what that gave me, it gave me the key. So I was able to get in there and drink all the church wine I wanted. And it was really good.